Hey everyone, Teo here. In this video, I want to talk about the differences with user and drawing experience of the nano-texture glass on the iPad Pro versus a matte screen protector and glossy display. Matte glass displays are not new. Actually, they have been around for many years. For example, with the Wacom Mobile Studio Pro 13, which was released in 2016, that came with a matte glass, and many of the pen displays released in recent years, such as those from Wacom, XP Pen, Huion, Sense Labs, and other companies, also come with the matte glass display. And some of the tablets that I've reviewed recently, such as the XP Pen Magic Drawing Pad and the Link Studio S1, also come with the matte glass display. So Apple decided to market matte glass as nano-texture glass so that they can sell you this feature for an extra US $100. This is just like how they marketed Apple Pencil Hover, which is a feature that has been available to Windows tablets and Android tablets for years. And this is how they marketed USB-C as a selling feature for their iPhone, when many phones have been using USB-C for years. One thing I really don't like is you can only get the nano texture glass option with the iPad Pros with 1TB or 2TB storage. So if you are an artist who doesn't really use that much storage, are you going to upgrade the storage so that you can have the option to purchase the nano texture glass for an extra US $100? I mean, the storage upgrade prices are marked up significantly to insane levels. For example, to increase storage from 256 gigs to 512, it's an extra US $200. And from 512 gigabytes to 1TB, it's an extra US $400. So we are looking at an extra $600 to upgrade from 256 to 1TB. That is a lot of money. Even for me, who had ordered the iPad Pro 13-inch with nano-textured glass with the intention of returning this after the review, I had hesitation on the ordering page. So who can afford this, and what's the target market for an iPad Pro with nano-textured glass? Definitely professionals who make a lot of money using the iPad Pro, wealthy and rich artists, freelancers or business owners who can get tax refund from buying this as a business expense, and for people who can buy stuff, anything with the YOLO reasoning. Personally, for me, I just can't afford this. I can't even afford the refurbished version of this when it's available next year. Let's see how the nano texture glass looks versus a display with matte screen protector versus a glossy display. By the way, this phone is using a glass screen protector, so the glass screen protector is more reflective compared to this. Okay, so this is the nano texture, and this is now reflecting the sky. There is diffuse reflection, and because the OLED display is so bright, the brightness, like 1000 nits of brightness, is actually bright enough to go through the diffused reflection. Because if I turn this off right now, I can see diffused reflection. It may not be obvious on the camera, but it's definitely there. And when you have this on, the diffused reflection is not obvious at all. This is how the tablet looks at an angle. So the nano texture glass is only on the display, it's not on the bezels. This is matte textured screen protector on the M4 iPad Pro 11-inch. This is how it looks. You know what? Let me just tilt the display like this so that it reflects the sky, and this so that it reflects the sky. Notice how the matte screen protector would diffuse the reflection until the whole display is almost white. And this is now running at maximum brightness. So this is the reason why I stopped using matte screen protectors, because they will diffuse the reflection until it's so white and bright that it's glaring to my eyes. So when I'm using the tablet outdoors, this is just too glaring for me. The diffuse reflection on the matte glass is less aggressive, so this is really nice. This is not as bright or glaring, so this actually cuts down glare quite significantly. hence anti-glare. But for anti-glare matte screen protectors, they can actually produce more glare in certain situations. And this is the LCD display from M2 iPad Pro. This is how it looks compared to the nano-texture glass. Now this is not a very fair comparison because this OLED display is so bright, so I need to reduce this down so that this may be what it would look like if you have matte glass on LCD. Okay, see the difference? Yeah, so on the glossy display there is very clear reflection, but on the matte glass it's diffused reflection. And if you are using this indoors, you're not going to see any diffused reflection at all because indoor lighting is not going to be as bright as outdoor lighting. The matte glass does affect the image quality of the OLED display slightly. So colors on the glossy display will be slightly more vibrant and the visuals will look slightly sharper. On the matte display, text can be slightly softer. So all this is relative. From what I can see right now, the visuals still look really sharp and the colors still look really vibrant. It's just that it's slightly more vibrant and sharper on the glossy display. But the difference is not very significant. Now, one thing you have to know about matte surface is they will always introduce some color noise or grain. The nano-texture glass has minimal color noise and grain. So the text appears slightly softer, but it still looks really sharp. And when I move the tablet around, I don't really notice the color noise or grain unless I am specifically looking for it. By the way, the grain that I'm talking about is not the OLED grain that people are complaining about. It's the grain from the matte textured surface. This is matte screen protector. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there is noticeable color noise and grain with the matte screen protector. And this is visible even without a side-by-side comparison. I'm not sure if my camera can actually capture that, but it's definitely there. So the rougher the surface, the more color noise and grain there will be. So smoother surfaces will not have that much color noise or grain. So Apple is using the smoother surface for their nano texture glass, which doesn't affect image quality as much, which is great. Because the more I use this tablet, the more I like the look and feel of the surface. But there is the compromise with a smoother matte surface. By the way, this is a sketch that I drew a few days ago on the 13-inch M4 iPad Pro. So I was seated down and I was holding the tablet like this while drawing. Now the pen glides on the surface quite smoothly. It's not slippery. The tactile experience is definitely not as obvious compared to drawing on a rougher matte screen protector. So this is quite smooth. Now if you have used any of the drawing tablets before, the surface texture from those pen displays, the matte glass pen displays and the drawing tablets is identical to the surface and the experience that you will get on this matte glass. One advantage of this matte surface is fingers and your palm can glide easily on the surface. So when you're drawing, your hand can move freely compared to drawing on the glossy display where sometimes your palm may actually stick to the surface of the glass. And also, this matte textured surface does not attract fingerprints that much. So this is going to be quite easy to clean. Yeah, so while drawing this on the train the other day, I could move my hand around so swiftly, but on the glass display, my palm will usually stick to the glass. So that's one thing that I notice instantly when I'm drawing on this matte surface. If you happen to have a desktop LCD display at home with a matte surface, the feeling of having your finger on that desktop monitor is going to feel the same as on the nano-texture glass because the surface texture is similar. It is definitely quite satisfying to look at your artworks or your sketches on the matte surface because it almost looks like a high quality print, except you know that this is a display that emits light but print reflects light, but it still looks so good. And this is how it looks on the glossy display. Is this at maximum brightness? Yep, it is. Wow, that's reflective. And this is how it looks on the matte screen protector, which actually looks pretty good, but not as good compared to the matte glass because there is color noise on this matte screen protector. The Apple Pencil tip may wear down faster on this matte surface, but I don't think it's going to be an issue because replacement pen tips for the Apple Pencil is quite affordable as long as you don't buy them from Apple. Included with the purchase of the nano-texture glass is the Apple polishing cloth, and Apple recommends you only use that cloth to clean the nano-texture glass. I'm not sure how many people will read the instructions that says you have to use that cloth. So here I have this generic microfiber cleaning cloth that I use to clean my filters for the cameras, and it works fine. It's able to wipe off fingerprints and smudges very easily, and I don't see it scratching or damaging the display. And if Apple actually designed a display that can only be cleaned by their special polishing cloth, I would call that a design fail. Oh, by the way, this is the Space Black iPad Pro, which attracts fingerprints on the back like crazy, and this is quite difficult to wipe off even with the microfiber cleaning cloth. So if you don't like fingerprints, get the silver version. Fingerprint smudges do not show up as obviously on the matte surface regardless of whether the display is on or off, so that's really nice. On the glossy display, the fingerprint smudges are quite obvious, especially when the display is off. This little corner looks nice and there are some interesting sculptures here. Let me just do a quick sketch here. I've already gotten used to drawing on glossy displays, so I don't mind drawing on matte displays or glossy displays. But I have to say that drawing on a matte texture display does provide a more satisfying drawing experience. The pen tip is smooth on the surface, but it's definitely not slippery, so I can control the pen tip quite accurately without the pen tip sliding away. I'm pretty sure if the nano-texture glass is not locked behind the 1TB or 2TB models, more artists would definitely opt for this texture because it is quite satisfying to draw on this. And also the image quality, the image quality of the matte display, the look of the matte display is just fantastic for creating art for sketching. And this is especially so for people, graphic designers or artists who work with print. If they have to print their art out, you can actually see how your art looks on this matte display, and it can probably match how it looks on print. So you can get a better preview of how it looks before it's printed. If you're just using the iPad Pro at home, maybe you can consider getting a pen display instead, because a pen display with matte glass is going to be way more affordable compared to this. But ultimately, which device to choose for creating art really comes down to the software you use. The main selling point here is the iPad Pro is portable. So if you don't need that portability, You can just go with a pen display with matte glass. It's going to be so much more affordable. This is the 11-inch iPad Pro with matte screen protector on it. You can see how much glare there is from the diffuse reflection because the display is facing the sky right now. So if I am to draw with this matte screen protector outdoors, this is going to be quite glaring for me. And of course, when there is so much diffuse reflection, it's going to affect how you see the colors, if you can actually see the colors beneath the screen protector. And this is matte glass, so you can see the anti-glare is working more effectively compared to the matte screen protector. There is diffuse reflection, but at least I can still see my art, the line art, and also the colors quite clearly. And as long as you don't face the tablet to bright light sources, so if you are holding it like this, then it's going to look even better. So this is my completed sketch. By the way, this app that I'm using is Concepts, which is a vector sketching app. So the file sizes that it creates is really small. I mean, I can use this app to draw for the next 10 years and I will not need any storage capacity more than 256 gigabytes. So with Apple locking the nano-texture glass behind the 1TB and 2TB iPad Pro models, that to me is a disgusting money grab move. So the file size for that earlier sketch is just 3.7 megabytes. Now my Procreate files are much larger, but Procreate is not my main drawing app. If you really need 1TB or 2TB storage model, maybe it's not such a big deal to spend another US $100 to get the nano-texture glass. However, this matte glass feature is not a feature that other companies would charge you extra for. If you don't need so much storage capacity, I don't think it's worth the money to pay for the insanely marked up storage upgrades. And the $20 Apple polishing cloth is nothing special, and you certainly do not need to use that specifically to clean the nano-texture glass. For me, I usually clean the tablet with my t-shirt when I'm outdoors, because who actually remembers to bring the microfiber cleaning cloth out? So this is my review of the nano-texture glass on the iPad Pro. Thanks for watching. See you guys again. Bye.